Good evening and welcome to Success in the City. My name's Helen Webster and I'm with the lovely
Sandra Scott, and our fabulous guest today is
Geraldine Fuller from BIPC Liverpool.
Welcome, Geraldine.
Welcome, and thank you so much for coming on. So Geraldine came on at real short notice, but we were going to ask her to be a guest in the future anyway. So it's a little win-win for us all. So first thing we do is we shout out to the kids, any little people who are doing amazing things. Do you have any little people you want to shout out to, San?
Yes, I do. And it's partly through Liverpool Airport, who, you know, I'm a big fan of and always an advocate of the airport. And it was the first autistic-friendly airport in the country, thanks to local campaigners, etc. Liverpool Airport let a young man do the announcements, which was his dream. He wanted to do it. So his name is Josh. And he announced all the flights, and I've shared it on the page today. And Swissport let him do it, and EasyJet, and he did the announcements and everything. So well done to Josh.
How amazing stuff. I'm going to shout out generally to all of the kids because it's Children's Mental Health Awareness Week this week, and everything that they've been through in the past couple of years. And it's very important to talk about it. And I think children are much better than we are at talking about things. So, yeah, just big shout out to all the little people for just doing amazing things. And lots of schools will be talking about the Children's Mental Health Week and stuff like that. And lots of youth clubs and what it means and what it's about and stuff. We should have good mental health and bad mental health as well. So, yeah, so good to them. So, Geraldine, have you got any little people you want to shout out to?
Well, I have one very important little person in our house, which is my 4-year-old Sebastian. And he is on cloud 9 because he was awarded Puppet of the Week at Drama School on Saturday. So he's beaming with pride. And I think a shout out goes to all the children at that age who are currently learning to read and write and trying so hard. It's an enormous effort, and they really do put everything into it. And I think, gosh, imagine if you were trying to learn Chinese or Russian, how difficult it would be. And for them, it must be the same thing. So, yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Sebastian and say well done from Mummy, but also to every little person trying hard with their homework and their reading and writing and getting over those hurdles tonight.
Just to let you know, Geraldine, it's dead easy to learn Russian and Mandarin. It's just talk, and that's all it is. Okay, go on, carry on.
There you go. So there you go. Okay, success this week for you personally. Something amazing that's happened to you personally this week. It can be business related. It can be anything. We'll find out more about Geraldine's business and where she is and how she got there. So I've got 2 things.
You go first.
Okay. I'm going to shout out to myself because my success is me amaryllis plant. So me mum. John Howie's listening and he says, hello, ladies. Big shout out to John Howie. So my mum bought us these amaryllis plants. She bought one for me, one for my brother and one for her. So I am like the worst gardener out of all of us. Our Stuart's like a landscape gardener, so he's sound. So I was like, right, I'm going to win this competition of growing the best flower. Anyway, whatever I'm doing, it's amazing. So it's massive. It's now got a second one. The bud's on. Every day I walk in, it's changing. You want to see it, mate? It's amazing. It's starting to open a little tiny bit. Oh, Stuart put a photograph on the WhatsApp group. He'd only put a tulip behind it, so I thought he had a bud. So I was livid last week, but he wasn't. He was cheating. So I'm dead made up with myself for me amaryllis, which I will share on the page because.
And this is leading to you getting into gardening like me and growing. No, it is not. This is how it starts with one plant, and you're made up. But this is what happened to me with the orchids. Honestly, this is it now. Go on.
Gary Adlin, our guest, he says, hi, everyone, green fingers. I am. This is all to do with when Gary was talking about the carbon footprint and things like that. So I'm growing things. So there you go.
Brilliant. Okay.
What's your success, Sam?
What's your second success?
Oh, well, it'll be the same as yours, which was our event yesterday.
Okay, well, that is mine, but I've got 2 as well.
So you do yours and then we'll do the event.
So as you will know, people, there was no show last week, which was my fault because my lovely friend Elaine Courtney got me on the guest list and I went to the launch of Eurovision. And for everyone who knows me knows I have been obsessed my whole life since I was 8 years old with Eurovision. I was literally like that. And I actually couldn't accept I was going to this until I was in. And again, it was like when I went to university, I kept thinking they were going to ask me to leave. I was at the queue and she went down the guest list and I thought, well, if it's not there, it's fine, I'll go. And then I saw my name and she went, yes, Sandra Scott, come in. And I went, oh, it was just the best event. It was fantastic. But my red face is coming at the end, which also relates to this. A brilliant event. Go on then.
Geraldine, have you got a success this week?
Well, I wasn't very successful, but I was proud of myself. Our local tennis club do a community outreach program, and they arranged a tennis tournament. And I would say I'm one of the, probably one of the least talented people in the tennis club, really. And for some reason, I just thought, do you know what? I'm never going to get any better unless I join in. And I ended up being really nervous. I tried to just volunteer to manage the cake store. Then they said, no, join in. It's for a good cause and you might improve. And you know what? I was so glad that I did pluck up the courage because I had the best fun. Of course, I didn't win anything. I don't even think I was very good, but I smiled from ear to ear for 2 hours. We raised a bit of money for local schools, and it was well worth doing. And I just thought sometimes you've got to push yourself, haven't you? So yeah, a little win there for me.
I was not fabulous.
And the big win was driving to work. You know those annoying sounds that your car makes and you don't know if it's going to blow up or whether you've got a flat tire or you and it was going beep beep beep, hazard warning, everything. Stopped off Ellesmere Port, then stopped off further down 3 times, and then I realized that my husband putting antifreeze in the car left the bonnet open. And that was all it was. So I went on YouTube, found the instructions to open the bonnet. I refused to phone him. I refused to phone the AA, and I did it.
Well done. Well done. I look at you constantly. I had to put I've had to get a tracker to keep my insurance down. Right. So I've had no points for 3 years. It's the best I've ever been. Anyway, so I put the tracker in. So I had to, and it said this, and I thought, oh God. Then I Googled how to fit it and I found it and I was so happy with myself. So I installed that the other day. It's been horrendous. I cannot play Beat the Sat Nav anymore. So I go to people, it's going to take me at least 45 minutes to get there now. So whereas I'd be like, zip, 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 there's none of that now. So there we go.
Got a black box.
Well, they're going to think my gear changes are amazing, Geraldine, because I've got an automatic. So they won't know. So they're going to
how slick is she? Amazing.
Good.
So we'll see. Anyway, after 7 days, it gives me a report. And I hope it's not like the app where I had the app and I was doing brilliantly. And Des Flanagan drove me to Southport and I was a passenger. And then it said, and then my score plummeted because of his driving. I told Des that. So there we go.
I'm just buzzing that you've got a tracker in your car.
It's awful. So I'll have it. So I'll see me results in a few days. I'll let you know how I get on.
Amazing. That'll be your red face next week.
I know. So, and we had the mutual success, didn't we, Hal? Yesterday.
We did. And this is where we met Geraldine. So I'd met Geraldine virtually from a friend of ours that had introduced Geraldine and myself because I wanted to speak to Geraldine for a while. And I was like, does anybody know Geraldine? And Sean with Buddy the dog. So we're more interested with Buddy the dog than Sean. Introduced us and we had a little email and then Geraldine came to our event yesterday. So Sandra and I and working with Liverpool John Moores University, and they've been guests previously, which is John Howie and Craig was on as a guest with us, wasn't he? And we did our Success in the City event with Liverpool John Moores LCR 4.0 start program, which is coming to an end, and it was to celebrate the achievements of the local businesses who've used what they've taught them and gone on to do amazing things. So it was brilliant, wasn't it?
It was fun. It was a really good event, and it was nice because it was meant to start at 12. People got there at 12. It was meant to finish at 2. People left at 2. It ran perfectly, and there was people for this right number of seats exactly. So it was just perfect, wasn't it? It went really well. Strawberry Fields are amazing. We were so well looked after. I would say to anyone, if you're thinking of having an event there, because it's closed on a Monday and they opened it especially for us. The attention to detail we had was lovely. The food was excellent. The cake, the gluten-free carrot cake, is the best cake ever, as several people have commented. It was just such a nice venue, and of course, it's well worth a visit anyway. Or if you're just meeting a friend for a coffee, because the gardens are lovely, etc. So, really cool place.
Oh, I thought it was. I think you should both be congratulated, as should all the team there. I mean, it was a last-minute thing. And it's a bit embarrassing, really, isn't it? When you work and you're from Liverpool and you say Strawberry Fields, all your family abroad will go, "Oh, you must know where that is." It was my first time, never been there. And what a welcome. I felt like the Queen going through those gates with these committee. "Oh, park down here, we'll show you to the door." It was so slick, so smooth, and a beautiful location. As you say, the food was absolutely spectacular. And you know, you go to a lot of networking events, so do I, and some are better than others. This was a standout one for me. I walked through the door and just saw and felt happy faces and felt the welcome. And that was how it was. And actually, you say it was all slick, everyone gone by 2. I think everyone would have been happy to stay till 6 o'clock. The atmosphere was great, and really, really talented individuals in the room, all sorts of people running exciting businesses. Great to hear what Strawberry, and I keep calling it Strawberry Fields, but it's actually Strawberry Field, isn't it? Yeah. Great event.
We only have fabulous people, Geraldine. We only engage with just lovely, kind, decent people who just do good locally, who have got good ethics, and that's it. And it's made our life lovely, hasn't it? Just dealing with nice people all the time. But thank you, that's really kind. John's put one of the better events we had done. Thank you both so much for hosting. You're so welcome.
It was lovely, and it was lovely to see all of the people in the room engaging with each other, but being genuinely interested in what other people wanted. It wasn't just for show, which was lovely. And the thing with Strawberry Fields, because Strawberry Fields is a charity, the money that's paid to for them to host it for us, and do all the food and everything, goes back into and they do the Steps to Work program. And so Leslie's been a guest on our show, and they did a little talk about how Strawberry Fields works and how the Steps to Work program, which is about getting people with learning disabilities into paid work, which is just one of the things that we love anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It just helping people, and he did the nicest job, and I thank the people. It was just great, wasn't it? And some people bought some items at the shop as well, so I was delighted about that. And the parking's free, which is a win. So it was great. So that was good. So we can breathe now. That's out the way.
We can indeed. So Geraldine's with us. We're now going to play This or That. Okay, Geraldine, Sandra and I are going to ask either way. Okay, which one? And I think Sebastian's coming to say hello. Is he coming to wave to us?
Hello, Sebastian. Ian McPhail.
You put the headphones on.
Put the headphones on, Sebastian. You're going to say hello.
We said this might happen. Didn't we? Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Mummy doing?
We're going to say well done, Sebastian, for doing your homework.
I can't hear what you're saying. Can you give everyone, blow everyone a big kiss and say night night? Hang on, sit on my knee.
Yeah, we're going to say well done
big
to
kiss
Sebastian.
and say good night.
Night.
Off you go then. Night. Take your blanket. Bye bye.
Oh, how cute is that? We love that.
Okay, because Geraldine, Helen's cat often walks across the top.
Yeah, he's over there. He's just.
The dog was licking the walls. These things happen. I've had parcels delivered in the other house and everything.
Sandra actually took the laptop to get the parcel and introduced the person delivering the parcel.
Yeah.
Remember that?
People commented there, hell, I think.
Oh yeah, Peter Lloyd, who was there yesterday, says, "Evening all, loved the event yesterday. Thank you, and thank you, Strawberry Field." And Peter's a gardener, or an award-winning gardener, who will be coming back on very, very soon. Fingers round all his sound. And Ian's listening in, and he says hello there. So a big hello to Ian as well.
Hello.
Okay, this or that. Sandra and I are going to ask you. Okay, are you going first or am I going first, Sam?
First today.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Geraldine first. Okay, so this is for Geraldine and Sandra. Binge watch a television series or watch it every week? So like Happy Valley's been on. Do you watch it every week or do you watch it all at once?
Which I've never seen.
Okay. Geraldine.
I am a binger by nature. Yeah. I have to discipline myself. If something's so good, yeah, I would stay up. I try not to, but if it's good and I'm grit, and it's pretty much the same with a box of chocolates and so on. I find it quite hard to pace myself if something's really great. Happy Valley, they forced us to, though, didn't they? And in a way, I'm glad, because I think it added to the enjoyment in between the episodes, being able to say, what do you think is going to happen? Is she going to die? Is he going to kill him? So I was glad I didn't watch it, but I'm glad I wasn't able to binge watch it. That's what I mean.
Yeah. What about you, San?
Weekly, because I can't sit long enough to binge watch anything. There's no point. I watch two episodes max. I have watched some things like that, but whilst I'm doing things, but only say if it was the length of a film. So like maybe 3 episodes or something max, and then I'm done. That's it. I love the old-fashioned way of watching it each week and things like that. You know, I don't watch so much TV, but if I do, you know, I'm quite happy to watch things weekly.
Yeah, no, I binge because I forget what's happened, so I can't wait a week because I forget what's happened. But I'm like you, two episodes and I'm done. But I like to do them like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Watch the whole season in like, you know, a few days.
No, that's good to watch each night. Yeah, I like that.
Because otherwise I forget what's happened. Go on, San, your go.
Okay. Chester or Liverpool?
Oh, well, that's very difficult for me because I live in Chester and I work in Liverpool, but I have lived in Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think I kind of have the best of both worlds, but there is something unique about Liverpool. And ever since I got my job and came back, because I've lived in Chester now for 8 years, but I've been in Liverpool for 30 something years. I knew I wanted the job when I get that rush of excitement coming through the tunnel, and then when I catch sight of the live buildings and the River Mersey, my heart sings, and I can't get that feeling anywhere else in the world. And I'm just considered myself very lucky to be within. Actually, it only takes me 42 minutes door to door, depending on Sebastian's length of time to get out of the car and things, dropping him off. But it's actually very easy. But it's great to only. I wouldn't want to be any further. Put it that way. But Chester is beautiful too. It's lovely walks, great parks, North Wales on your doorstep. So I really love where I live and I love where I work. And my family are in Crosby. My mum and dad are still there. So I don't ever need a reason to be back in Liverpool.
Which is ace. Yeah. I'm going to say Liverpool, San. What about you?
Liverpool.
Yeah. Although Chester is beautiful.
When I lived over the water, Geraldine, I used to get the boat over sometimes, depending on the hours I was working. And I used to leave and getting the ferry over is the best. And they give you a free coffee. I used to love getting the boat over, but I live back in Liverpool now. But I know exactly what.
I want to do that actually. Yeah, I could drive, couldn't I, and get the boat, and then in the summer walk down.
It's the best thing
I think that would be good. Yeah.
Don't do what I did. Listen to some French people talking. Forget to get off, and and I went, and it was sailing back to Liverpool, and I had to do that twice. It was awful. So it was good fun.
Okay, my next one: going to bed early or a night owl? Geraldine.
It all depends on what you've done the night before. I think once upon a time there would have been no contest. I'd never ever want to stay in ever. But as you get older, you really appreciate nights in as much as you do nights out, and
That's so
you
true.
absolutely have to have the balance. You can't enjoy. I can't enjoy a night out if I've had a night out the night before anymore. And I enjoy the nights out all the more as long as I've had prep. The disco nap is a new thing that needs to happen. So
I've done that
that
all my life.
has to be worked out into the equation. The recovery nap, preferably 3 days of really early nights before 3 days. So it needs to be a good night out to make it work all that. But yeah, still up for it.
100%.
But yeah, it needs a lot of prep and recovery time built in
Yeah.
these days.
What about you, San?
Oh, a night owl, definitely. I don't, but a bit like if I've been out one night, and so you coming up to Christmas, you know, you end up going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and one got cancelled, and I was so happy. And I wouldn't have been like that when I was younger, you know. So, but overall, a night owl.
Yeah, I think it's what Geraldine said. I used to be like nocturnal. I used to
Yeah.
be massively nocturnal when I was younger, and now I do like to go to bed at like 10:30. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's heaven.
okay,
I
Sam,
get actually excited about that. Yeah.
go on,
Okay.
Sam, you'll go.
Onions or leeks?
Ooh.
Oh, leeks. Well,
Hands
I don't know
down.
actually. I've changed my mind now because caramelized onion can be really good with certain things, like some, warm brie on sourdough or something like that, or or balsamic onion tart is really good. Leeks can work. Well, I think it's because I've just done chicken and leek pie for
Oh, God,
Sebastian's
I
supper,
love
so I'm
it.
thinking that was quite nice. Each have their place, neither at lunchtime.
I got at lunchtime.
You can't have pickled leeks, but you can have pickled onions.
Oh, I don't
True.
like pickled onions.
Don't you?
No,
Even the little tiny silver skin
No, I
ones.
don't.
Oh,
sharp. I don't
Oh.
like them.
I could smash a jar of them.
And maybe
Yeah. Go on then, Sam. Oh, it's my go. Last one, isn't it? Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Small gathering or a big event?
Oh, that's hard.
I know. I'm gonna ask you this time first, Sam.
If Eurovision's one of them, the large event.
But what about an intimate, like a small private showing of Eurovision?
No, the whole thing with Eurovision is the crowd and the internet and all the people from all over the world.
So we're not talking Eurovision, we're just talking like a normal, everyday human.
So, like, give me an example of a big event. So, like, I'm going to see Big Country with me, mate.
Okay, no. So you're going to go to like a little afternoon tea event, like yesterday, or you're going to go to like a gala dinner, like an awards gala dinner, or an awards like we did, that sort of thing, like a small event or a big one.
Small events are nice because you get to talk to people and much. Big events are good because they're in the you know, everyone has a good time and you go out. So overall, the larger events.
Okay.
To attend, not organise.
Okay. Cool. What about you, Geraldine?
Well, if it was a large event, I would still want a bit of intimacy. So if I was going to the Oscars, I would want to be in the green room. I would want to be at the private reception beforehand. I just wouldn't want to be on the back row and that kind of thing. So I'd want to be having the intimate conversations, but I'd still want the red carpet effect. Small gatherings, if it's with your best friends and your family, there is absolutely nothing better if you're in good company. If you're not in good company, then bring on the crowds, and so you can quickly disappear, is what I say.
That's true. There's nothing better than time with friends. You're absolutely right.
No,
Definitely. I like that. Yeah. A small event with your besties, but if they're not a big event, so you can get away from them.
No, I like that. I think that's genius.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Your last one, San.
Okay. Savoury pie or sweet pie? With you saying you did a chicken and leek pie. We've got two food ones today.
Well, I'm a big fan of fruit tarts, the French kind, you know, with that exotic custard layer, I could eat those every single day. But I'm more of a savoury person. So I haven't really got a sweet tooth apart from really, really delightful chocolates and tarte
Brilliant.
aux fruits.
Tarte aux fruits. I love it. My fave.
So pie is my favourite food in the whole wide world. So any pie.
But you savoury
Sweet.
though, Helen.
No, 100% sweet. But I only like apple pie. I don't like rhubarb and all those sort of things. So I'd probably have to go with savoury because there's more choice for me pie. But I just
Mine
love
would be savoury overall, definitely.
Yeah. I love
Would you
pie.
have cloves in your apple pie though, Helen?
If you'd like to make me one, yeah.
No. I put a mixed spice in them or
Oh, do
nutmeg.
you? I don't make them. So opposite me mum, Bernie lives across the road. So I think she's like 86, 87. Maybe she might be a little bit older now. So my mum and dad have got an apple tree. So they pick the apples, take them over to Bernie. She makes the pies and brings the pies back.
How cool.
Genius that, isn't it? And then I just turn up and take the
Well,
pie.
it's not that
That's what I-
simple though, you know. There's a lot involved in getting the right balance of the spices right, because you don't want your apple pie to be bland. You know, like hospital apple pie used to be, that kind of thing. It needs to have a little bit of a kick. So yeah, bit of nutmeg, cinnamon.
Oh, nice.
Which hospital
more
did you
cloves.
stay in, Geraldine?
Very nice. My mum's listening in, and my mum says nocturnal when you were a baby, because I didn't sleep, did I, for the first 3.5 years of my life.
I can believe
If
that.
she'd have had me first, she'd have never had any others. But Stuart was an angel.
I bet Stuart is an angel.
No, he's not. The roles have reversed now. Okay. So thank you, Geraldine, for coming on to see us. Geraldine works for the BIPC Liverpool, and we are going to find out how she got to where she is now, what she's going to do supporting local small businesses and things, and some events and things she's got. But we want to know your story, Geraldine, of where you started and how you got to where you are now. Sandra and I will butt in and ask questions probably at the same time.
Yeah,
like what we do.
Brilliant.
So we're going to hand it over to Geraldine and say thank you very much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. Goodness me, it seems like a long time ago then. You're taking me back quite a way. I did English and Italian at university. And that was mainly because it involved a year in Italy. And that really was all that interested me at the time. And it seemed like a good route to do a 4-year course, 4 years of being a student, and have a good time in Rome. And that was my sole intention, really. And I fulfilled that.
Straight away, Geraldine, first question, where did you study and where did you stay in Italy?
I studied at Manchester University.
Yeah.
And my year in Italy, I worked as a house mistress in an international boarding school in Rome with the Catholic nuns. Because at the time I was working in Park House, if you might remember that, in Waterloo, which was a convent hospital, in my weekends and in school holidays. And a friend of the nuns knew another friend in Rome, and it was decided that with my predisposition for socializing, I might be better in the safe hands of the nuns than just let loose on my own in a foreign city. So I was dispatched to the convent to the in Rome, aged 20. And my job was to look after the 4 and 5-year-olds and also the boarders. And it was quite a wealthy, independent school. We had armed bodyguards in case of kidnapping and so on. Domenico would cycle round on his motorbike with a gun in his pocket. And most of the disciplinary issues revolved around the girls sneaking out to the Via Condotti to buy Prada and Chanel out of their £5,000 pocket money. Well, lira it was then, so they were all lira millionaires. And smoking, because it was Italy. But it was a tremendous experience. and I don't actually think I learned as much Italian as I should have done, really, because I hung around in the Irish bar and the American bar with all the embassy people. But it was great experience. So I managed to get a degree, and then I then got a place on a program that Manchester Business School were running. It was sort of a scholarship funded by Europe, and it was marketed as half a MBA. So I applied for that and got onto it, which was absolutely fantastic. But a bit hard work. So from having gone from 6 hours a week teaching, doing English and Italian, having to learn a bit about business studies and Excel spreadsheets and cash flows and French on top of the Italian and business. I remember once they took us on a night out, the teachers in the Manchester Business School, and gave us absolutely tons to drink. And then they scheduled the Excel spreadsheet workshop for 8 a.m. on the Saturday. And they said, this is your first lesson in business to understand how to perform on a hangover after socializing with clients. And we all got extra marks for being there on time. But that was a great course.
That's
Yeah, it was good. And then, like everyone else, we're looking for work and looking for jobs. And someone said to me there was a PR company in Liverpool looking for people to join them. And at the time, I think Ab Fab was on the TV. Lynn Franks was famous. PR was kind of like, remember when social media took off? It was kind of like PR. Wow, that's going to be for me. That sounds ace. So it's a bit of writing, parting, promotion, communication. The world's moving so quickly. I couldn't think of anything better. So I got work experience in the PR company, and then they kept me on. So that was the beginnings of a career in communication for me.
fabulous. And then how did you end up? How did you end up in our what you're doing in the library?
I worked my way up through the PR company, and then they had a client, which was, people might know the name, Merseyside Special Investment Fund. When Liverpool was given Objective 1 status, it got a load of money from Europe, and all sorts of projects were funded. But one of the biggest ones was the investment fund, which would provide loans and different forms of finance to new and growing businesses across Merseyside. And they didn't have a marketing person. So I went to them and said, well, you need a marketing person. Why not have me? So they never advertised the job, which is probably illegal now. But they said, okay, well, you know what we're doing. So that was a superb start, because that was in 2001. In 2002, £80 million landed in the bank account of MSIF. And I launched those funds in Sefton Park Palmhouse. And that was a game changer for lots of businesses across the city region. People who were being told no by their banks, and people who were being weaned off the grant culture. They were starting to learn that you have to invest in your business, that having a loan isn't bad. You can pay it back if your business is growing. It will help you take on more stuff. It will help you buy machinery. With the money, we provided business support. So we weren't just handing out cash to people. And we were criticised sometimes when people didn't get the money that they wanted, or you put money into something and then the business went bust. My job would be to deal with the Liverpool Echo phoning up to say £200,000 worth of public money's gone down the pan because you've invested in this. And we had to explain that our job was to take a chance, an educated risk, but some will fail, some will survive. But I am very proud now when I see businesses that were supported back then doing really, really well. And some of the initiatives that we pioneered, like the Family Business Awards, where in Merseyside, unlike other parts of the UK, I think we have a third of businesses are family owned, be it mum, dad, granddad, auntie, uncles, brothers and sisters, and they have a different dynamic. And one of the things we did was the Family Business Awards, which really celebrated that and provided those businesses with specialist help. We also did a turnaround program, which I'm hoping to bring in later this year, for businesses that are struggling, to take away the stigma. You know, when someone's really stressed because they...
Oh, we've
Oh
lost her.
no!
I was mesmerised. I wonder why we lost her. She'll come back now.
The battery might, either battery's gone or something.
Oh yes. Now, what does is it BIPC, Hal? What does it stand for?
It's the business. Oh, you've got me on that one. Give me 2
Sorry,
seconds.
well, we'll ask her when she comes back
I'll
on.
get you the exact thing now, because I did write it down. It's like the business. Oh, she's coming back in. She's coming back in.
Great. I know, just mid-sentence.
Mid-sentence, all right. But she's back. It's okay. She's back. She's back.
I dropped out there for a minute.
You're
So
back.
yes, that was a great...
We're talking about the turnaround business.
Yes, yeah. It's how important it is to support people, and I think that that's something that's relevant now. That when people are struggling, they get stressed, and then their decision making is affected. They can make all sorts of decisions that finish the business off, and then that has knock-on effect then with marriages, with members of staff, all sorts of things. And it's absolutely vital that when people are starting to feel the pinch and feel under pressure, that they can go and talk to someone. Sometimes all they need is someone that says, do you know what, I'll speak to HMRC for you. I'm just going to take away that pressure, or I'm just going to give you half an hour to talk through your options, or I'll speak to the person who you owe money to. That kind of thing can make a big difference. So you can imagine that over the course of, I think, 5 or 6 years that I was there, thousands of people were helped, and there were massive success stories. You know, people that really, really catapulted through to a new level. There were people that just stayed ticking over thanks to the money. They were okay, and they were happy with that. And there were other people who got into a pickle and were saved, and there were other people who didn't. And that is the nature of entrepreneurialism, and you know, and backing businesses. But I think that one thing that, I mean, I was very lucky to go to Brussels and interview the Director General of the European Commission, which was very exciting to go on a plane, and it was filmed. I still can't pronounce his name. I always remember walking up the long corridor to the headquarters, and there's an ashtray by every pillar because everybody smoked. And it was very jolly place, but they were so impressed with Liverpool. They said the reason why this money has come, Objective One money is going to Liverpool. MSIF was a kind of pilot project because they said Liverpool is home to so much entrepreneurial talent, so many really, really great minds. And we need to harness this talent and give it a chance. And even though there economic factors stacked against people, the energy, the tenacity, the innovation and the spirit was all there in the Liverpool people, and they could see that. And I just remember beaming with delight to hear that, thinking, here I am in Brussels and here's this chap saying such great things. And so more money came. And at the time also, then it was Capital of Culture. I remember almost crashing the car when that was announced, because you just couldn't believe in it. The excitement. I mean, we're getting a bit of that now with Eurovision, aren't we? But I think we've missed those times where we felt so full of hope and thought, Liverpool, gosh, it could be anything. And you know, they were heady times. So I honed skills in a variety of areas, really. Press, PR, event management, communications, board reports, you know, drier stuff, reporting to MPs. Some, you know, people always wanted us to, we had to be accountable. So you had to produce all sorts of material for people who wanted you to justify your existence, select committees and things. But I had lots of energy and a tremendous network. And I think just meeting every single day so many charismatic, fascinating people, no day was ever dull, and it was enriching, and it was a privilege. So much
Oh,
so that I then wanted to set up my own business. So I asked MSIF would they back me and invest in me to set up my own marketing and communications business, which they did. And then they gave me a 2-year contract to provide them with services. So I had a Sainsbury's bag full of £10 notes to pay the first instalment of rent in an office in the plaza on Old Hall Street, which wasn't as fancy as it is now,
yeah,
but
no.
it was up and coming. So I had a little office and ended up employing 5 members of staff. And
Brilliant.
I think, yeah, it was good. It was a nice transition from being on someone else's payroll to finally being a managing director in my 30s. And I thought, well, I've got to do it. I just felt like I'd been writing about so many businesses, meeting them. I felt like I needed to do it for myself. And it was great being there. And I did some really exciting projects. I had a lot of technology companies. We used to do a big event called Software City. So I think I was probably certainly one of the first women to embrace technology and realize that you could make money out of it. And I'm not a techie person, but I was bothered about paying the rent and paying the salaries of the 5 staff. And I could see an avenue there. So yeah, that was good fun. I remember going to Helsinki on a trade mission.
Oh,
And in
wow.
those days, well, a lot of people used to give me money back then. I wish they would now, but they used to say, "Oh, you're doing this project, Geraldine. We'll support you. We'll back you." And so I got involved in a lot of exciting things, and it was an experience that I won't ever forget, really. Um, But things changed then, of course. You had a recession. It became increasingly difficult to pay staff to keep going. More and more other people got involved in PR and marketing. I think I probably burnt myself out a bit. I was always someone doing 80 hours a week. And I was getting into my 30s, and then other people are getting married, having kids. And I was thinking, what am I really doing? And I think I lost a bit of mojo, and my own marriage broke down. Um,
Oh,
and that's quite hard. And the company was named in our married name too. So in the end, I did a deal with another PR company and sold the debtor book, which meant that all the staff could keep their jobs, and we went and got incorporated into them. And I could carry on working with the clients that I liked and have a bit of a breather for a couple of years, which was what I needed. Um,
Yeah.
so I was still doing what I liked, but I think it's a lesson probably that everyone can identify with. You can't go full pelt all your life without any kind of a break.
yeah.
Sooner or later, either you make the decision to make time for yourself, or something else makes that decision for you. Um, so yeah, I was quite lucky, really, the way that transpired. And then I kind of changed tack completely, because then I got married and then moved out of Liverpool, moved to Chester. Um, and then in my 40s, my husband said he didn't want to have children. Um, and then he changed his mind. But by that time, I was 44. It's like, oh no, quick, better hurry up. So I spent time trying to get pregnant and having IVF and working from home.
Wow.
So I was doing
Wow.
things, writing, really, charging
Yeah.
quite a good amount of money, really good clients, um, working for St Paul's Eye Unit and Medicash, good Liverpool clients, and doing things like writing speeches, awards entries, bits of PR, and it was quite good. And then even when Sebastian was a baby, I was still doing it while he was asleep. But the problem
Yeah.
started when he got to 1. And then when he could walk, somehow you can't really write 3,000 words a day and send a bill out
No.
because there just isn't the time there with
with a little person.
nappies, sleep. It was exhausting. And then we had lockdown just when I was thinking. So during lockdown, I just thought, I don't care. I am going to somebody's Christmas party. I've got to put a skirt and a blouse on and some lipstick and go somewhere. I'm going to apply for the first 2 jobs that I can find. So I looked, and there were 2 jobs. One was in Liverpool 1 for maternity cover in the marketing department, and one was at the BIPC. And both jobs, I remember stressing about. I was interviewed on Zoom, running around to the florists, arranging red roses. I was convinced that the flower display would enhance the interview process. But I didn't get the job at Liverpool 1. But I did get the job. Maybe they appreciated my floristry skills.
That's it.
I don't know. But
So
that was over a year and a half ago.
just for people who are listening, so BIPC, is that Business Intellectual Property Centre, is it? Or
yes, it's called the Business and IP Centre, and IP stands for Intellectual Property.
Right.
And what we do, there's about 21 or 22 across the country. We're led by the British Library in London. And the idea is that libraries across the country can provide anyone who walks in with really, really top quality business advice, but in particular, protecting their idea. So if you've invented something and you want to know, can it be patented? Can it be protected? Is it a trademark, or can I have this domain name if someone else has got it? The very first stages of your business are often about protecting your idea, making sure no one else can steal it, and also making sure that you're accidentally not stealing anybody else's intellectual property.
Yeah,
So
of
that's
course.
hence the name. And we have specialist expertise in helping people with that. So that's why we're called the Business and IP Centre. But what people don't really appreciate is that we're much more than that. So we'll help anyone, whatever their stage. And we've got so many resources that people can use at no charge. We run lots and lots of events. We welcome anybody, whether they're a managing director of a multi-million-pound business, or whether they're an expecting mum thinking of doing a sideline in cakes, or whether they are into gaming, or we had somebody who makes drag queen costumes, quite a niche area, because you can't just go and buy a size 16 in Marks and Spencer's and think that's going to cut it when you're performing. You're going to need special weighting on your hands and different measurements around armpits and legs and all sorts. And they wanted help. And we're just really, really well connected. A lot due to Gary Miller, our entrepreneur in residence, who runs the clinics every week, drop-in clinics. He will get out his black book, and 9 times out of 10, I'd say probably 10 actually, he'll say, I know someone who can help you. And that's the attitude that we have. We really do want to help people, whatever their issue is. And as a result, we get incredibly successful, very wealthy business people coming in just wanting to explore an idea or research something. We'll get people with the germ of an idea who just want to say, is this a good idea? Someone else thought of it. Or you get someone just with their normal issues. Oh, this is my payroll. Can I afford to take on someone? Or I'm a sole trader. Should I be a limited company? Or I'm a CIC. Should I be a CIC? Should I be a registered charity? All those kind of questions people have got. And the beauty about libraries is they're very welcoming, nice and warm too in winter, non-threatening places. Everything's free. And there's a very welcoming spirit of wanting to help people. And my background in business support and running my own business, when I saw that job advertised, I just thought, I can make a difference to that organisation. I can be useful, and I would really enjoy it. And 18 months later, well, they'll tell you whether I'm useful or not, but I can say that I enjoy it. So
it's a brilliant organisation, and Helen and I have both been there to see them together and independently of each other, and spoke to Gary. Gary's been fantastic for us, and he's been on the show, and Ali McGrath as well. So we value it massively. And you've got an event coming up, haven't you, at the Palm House, Geraldine? Is that right?
We do. Thank you for the reminder. It is Liverpool City Region Startup Day on February the 22nd, which is a Wednesday, in the gorgeous surroundings of Sefton Park Farmhouse, which is actually probably one of the warmest place you can go to in the UK in February is Sefton Park Farmhouse. If you can't afford a holiday this year, just come to this event. And it's going to be fantastic. We've got Joe Fairley, who is the co-founder of Green and Black's chocolate. Do you like Green and Black's chocolate? Have you tried it?
Yeah, I love Green and Black chocolate. It's amazing.
Well, she's got a really, really great story. She started the business from scratch. She was actually one of the UK's youngest female magazine editor. She's got lots and lots to share and tell. Really, really down to earth person. So she's coming as our keynote speaker, but lots of businesses are coming to show their wares. Business support organisations are coming. I've already got something like over 100 tickets have already gone. So I've had to increase the numbers a bit. It's really gaining momentum. And even though it's called Startup Day, it's not just about startups. It's about celebrating all forms of entrepreneurialism, growth, innovation. You could be an existing business. You could have set up a business in lockdown and still not traded, and you could be a startup, or you could have a business that's 100 years old, but you've got a new idea. So the idea of Startup Day is start up new thinking, start up a new idea. Maybe you're going to change something in your organization culturally to improve things. So it doesn't mean that it's restricted to people who've only been trading a short space of time, although absolutely everyone is welcome. So as many people as I can fit into the farmhouse are welcome.
And how do people sign up to come, Geraldine? How do they buy tickets?
We have lots and lots of regular events, by the way, online and physical, free events, really good quality workshops around trademarks and IP. Also other things like well-being, social media, basics of setting up your business, finance. You'll find all of the events that we run are on Eventbrite. So you can find us on BIPC Liverpool City Region. If you follow me and BIPC Liverpool City Region on LinkedIn, you'll see a bit of detail about what's coming up. The full list is on Eventbrite. Twitter is a few reminders, and we put some stuff on there as well. People can also email me, geraldine.fuller@liverpool.gov.uk, if they want to ask me about something, particularly anyone who's got a business that they want to promote at Liverpool Startup Day. If they want to take a stand, haven't got all that much space left, but if you've got something and you really would appreciate getting in front of a new audience, there's going to be all sorts of really exciting guest lists. It's a mixture of accountants and lawyers and business leaders of various different types, as well as creative businesses, digital, food, manufacturing, fashion, arts, culture. There's charities as well. It's probably the biggest cross section of businesses that I've ever seen under one roof, and I'm really, really pleased that people are coming together like this. So, and I thank you again for having me, because I'm sure that your network and your support and your endorsement will help even more people become aware of it too, and of our services. So, the other big news today is, can I just tell you one thing as well? Gunan Adamu this afternoon has kindly agreed to sort of co-chair it with me, which I think will make it a lot more professional. And Garth Dallas will introduce it as well. So I think that, the whole thing will be really, really good fun. And I'm so grateful to Gunan, who's a big supporter of ours. And, she's always really, really entertaining and fun. So,
fantastic.
I had to give Gunan a mention.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So I've just put the details in, just saying it's the startup day, but we will find the Eventbrite link and we'll reshare that on our page and things. And so we're gonna attend anyway. We'd already spoken about that previously. And I just think it's an amazing opportunity, and it's nice just to get out and about and see people. And
It's lovely to meet other businesses and see what's out there. The time's flown today,
I
hasn't
know
it?
the time's flown, and I'm sorry, but we have got a little. So I think we'll have to get Geraldine back on after the event, because I think there's loads of more stuff that you can talk about. Geraldine, super interesting. So we do a little section called Red Face. Slightly embarrassing. Okay, I've actually got two, because we weren't here last week. So my first one was, okay, so it's a little bit sad but hilarious at the same time. So a very somebody who was like quite instrumental in my tennis career was a guy called Terry O'Mara, which is my friend's dad. And unfortunately he passed away, and it was his funeral. So we went to the funeral in St. Oswald's in Old Swan. And then they said, we're all going to the cricket club after. So if somebody says, where's the cricket club? Where'd you go?
Egbert.
Goes to Egbert Cricket Club. Walks in. So we had to wear red for the funeral because he was a Liverpool fan. Phil goes to the toilet. I said, it's all right, I'll go upstairs. So he goes upstairs, walks into the bar. I'm stood at the bar and I'm thinking, I don't remember there being any kids in this funeral. Looked around. I was in the wrong place. We should have been in Sefton Cricket Club. So I'd walked into somebody else's funeral, stood at the bar. So that's my red. And then in red, yeah. And then on Thursday, I jumped on this Zoom call, and I was like, because I had to jump on my phone. I was like 1 minute past 1, and I was in the waiting room, and it was saying, you're in the waiting room. I thought, God, I've been in the waiting room for ages. So I emailed the person, and 53 people were all in this email. So I emailed them all just saying, oh, listen, I'm in the waiting room. If somebody can just tell them, that I'm there, because I just jumped on a little bit late. And the event is the 16th of March. So I was a month early.
Yes, absolutely.
Nobody's replied to me saying, oh, I sent another one saying, really sorry, I was a little bit excited.
That's so funny.
And I don't know any of these people who the Zoom one going on.
Okay, so super fast. She was crying, laughing over that. I was just like, what? My red face is awful. So as you know, I was so happy I was able to go to this event, the Eurovision launch last week, and it was on the telly and all the rest of it. And I was waiting, I was thinking, oh, I need the low. And they had Rylan and the AJ, she was amazing. They were just gorgeous, actually. They're so nice and lovely. And it was such a great event. And I was thinking, I need the low. And they're going, we're going live at 7. And I said, oh my God. And this girl behind me goes, I thought, oh, she's going, I'm going. But they sent us out all around the houses, and they were like, if you're not back, we're closing the door. And I was like, imagine. Anyway, so I rushed. The pair of us rushed. I said, if we're going together, it won't be that bad. So we went back. Oh my God, there was a man on the stage speaking, addressing everybody, and there was quiet, and it was like, there was me. And I don't know, the girl vanished surreptitiously, I don't know, and then everyone went, and it was like, who's that late Sandra Scott? Oh, it was mortifying, absolutely mortifying. And I was like, wait till I see Helen and tell her that. My red face.
Have you got a red face, Geraldine?
Most days.
Like that's like us.
Well, I'm at the stage. You will know with a 4-year-old, you are at the birthday party stage, which means your entire weekend, every weekend, is spent dispatching them and escorting them, and you have to be there, and you have to buy the present and turn up, and you're always driving around. So last week, I have a reputation for often being a few minutes late. This particular party was 3 children that are in a different class to Sebastian's, and I think I just must have had a busy week. I did look at it. I put it into my diary for 2:00. I turned up at 3:10, and I said, "Why are they doing the birthday cake, blowing out the candles now?" And I thought, oh, maybe this is a new thing. And then a couple of sarky remarks. Geraldine, nice of you to join us. And I thought, oh, that's a bit mean. I'm only 10 minutes late. 4:00, everyone started to go. And then I said, what do I do with this present for little Alex? Do you think he'll like it? And one of the mums said, Alex is a girl. And I said, oh, so the superhero card is for, oh no. But I've bought this truck I said, well, I'm just going to have to look like I'm being, gender neutral, friendly kind of thing. I can't take the child's present away. And then I said, oh, I'll tell you what I must do, because I realised now I'm now in 10 minutes late. I've sent the card to Alex, the boy, which is actually a girl. And then, get this, it's even worse.
That's
I thought I'd
brilliant,
better go over and say, I need to meet Fred. Now, I thought Fred was a single dad because he's on the WhatsApp group. No, Fred is Frederica, who's a happily married mum, who's Alex's mother. And she puts herself as Fred. So, when you don't know whether to just burst into tears or just scarper or just take a deep breath. And then thankfully, I spoke to two mums and they just said, Geraldine, own it. Look, I'm sure Alex will like a superhero card. That's fine. Fred has called herself Fred. She won't mind. It won't be the first time. And you were an hour late, but Sebastian didn't notice. And that was just Sunday. So I just had to kind of make mental note to say to myself, sometimes things go wrong in threes. Maybe that's the end of one week and the start of a good week. And it's,
you are so in our gangs, Geraldine. You are just one of us, believe me.
Okay, brilliant. I love that. That's amazing. I'm going to do a very quick shout out to the grown-ups. So I'm going to shout out to Autism in Motion, Face Benefits, and Love ETAP, who were all the winners of the LJMU LCR 4.0 start program that we were hosting last night.
Okay, I'm going to do a super duper fast shout out. I know we don't do politics, but it's not politics. Joanne Anderson spoke so well at that event I went to. Honestly, and we were at the same school. I was astounded we were there at the same time. I thought she was considerably younger than me. She just gave a brilliant speech, and the mayor of Torino, he had the most wonderful experience here, and just everyone who ran that event on Tuesday was just such a pride to the city. It was so well done. Amazing. So shout out to everyone involved in that event.
Brilliant. Okay. We normally talk about a book or a podcast that we're listening to, but we haven't really got time because we've run over because it's an hour. But we might just maybe quickly give a shout out. What you're reading, San, or what's your podcast?
I'm listening to at the minute. I've just started it. I downloaded it. Willpower Doesn't Work by Benjamin Hardy, and it's about you've got to want to do something.
Don Byrne.
Don Byrne recommended it. So he's recommended loads of great books to me. Yeah. So I'm on to that at the moment. I had the best conversation this morning with one of my clients, Alex Resti, about transcendental meditation. And we've got all kinds going on. So exciting times.
Amazing. Geraldine, what are you reading, or what's your podcast or anything?
I've just finished Lessons in Chemistry. Fantastic, funny, warm book. Single mum transforms her life. Sad, sweet, funny, and escapist. I lost 30 pages on holiday in the swimming pool, and so I gave up. But I've just restarted it. When you just think it was too good, but I've had to kind of accept that 30 pages have lost. And I think, gosh, how many pages is it? It's 998 pages, and I'm on page 400. But Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. Yeah. Excellent novel.
Thanks. I'm writing them all down.
Yeah. I'm reading Find Your Flow by our very own John Bull, who I went to his book launch anytime.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
on my list. I'm reading. Yeah.
I'm reading.
Great. Yeah. Everyone needs to buy that book. I hope you're watching,
Definitely.
John.
Oh, yeah. Geraldine, you'll have to come back again. Definitely, you're so interesting.
Definitely. And we always finish with a positive quote or a mantra that you live by. And Geraldine, what's your mantra or your closing quote? What you live by, or what?
Mine is to try and find joy in everything, every single day, wherever you can, and then just hang on to it, and it'll keep you cheerful whatever else happens in the course of the day. Be grateful and notice the joy and grab onto it and remember it.
Fantastic. I love that.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's been amazing. The time's gone super quick. We'll definitely have you back after the event, and we're going to see the event. So I want to say massive thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you for all your comments, and we will see everybody next week. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, Helen. Thanks, Sandra. Thanks, everybody.